Well, hello. It's been a while since I've done a fire pit video. I'm going to keep this really short because on the back side of this video is just a snippet of a presentation I gave to the University of Kansas in their business center last night. I just want to make a quick fire pit video. I haven't done one in a very, very long time. It's almost like I've been really busy. I mean, look at this place is trashed up back here. I think I cleaned it up for a video, but no, I'm keeping it real. So, I'm Jeremiah Nickel, aka JT Nickel on Reddit, at ProDJKC on Twitter. Speaking at Kansas University last night was the first time ever that I've done any kind of public speaking in the blockchain space to that extent. In other words, like EY was the first company to put me on stage, for 10-minute commentary. And as you know, we help out with their conference every year. But I wanted to address two things. The first thing is the students at KU. It was so fun to talk to young minds about where we're going with this. And it turns out we got a lot of work to do. And I want to bring more university students onto Reddit because I felt like there's a lot of students are not on Reddit. And I want to try to make that happen. And I also found out from Luke from ETH Global that it's like really hard to find developers at all, especially that have been in the space, to connect them to the blockchain world. So we got students interested in blockchain. There's about 40 of them that were there last night. And they have all kinds of different levels of working knowledge of the space. But they're like, a lot of them were like business majors, engineering majors, and computer science majors. And I had a computer science major come up and ask me, where can I come and learn and find out more information on what we're doing? Because I don't think he was really getting what he needed out of Twitter. I said, you got to come to ETH Finance. So I'm hoping that we can get some KU students to come in and beyond, because I'm actually been talking to Mary Lassity from the University of Arkansas also. So I feel like the crowd that is new to crypto, with some general working knowledge of it, that's kind of the people I love talking to. It was like when I was on stage, I felt like I was in front of this camera 4 years ago, just enamored by it, as I always have been. So on the subject of ETH Global and upcoming conferences, I'm going to start making a larger effort to pen more stuff in the daily for people to see as the conferences are going forward, right? It's like ETH Finance is free real estate. It's free. It's a free resource for everybody to use, take advantage of. We'll keep it really simple. There's going to always be like this ongoing calendar of events. If you know of anything that I'm missing or something you think we should be sticking for the day or even on the front page, let the mod team know. I'm just one guy, but we got a whole mod team. We have a back channel we discuss things in. So be on the lookout from here on out that we're going to take advantage of the sticky and try to give like what's the news of the day as far as like meetups, conferences, and whatnot. So with that, I'm going to let you guys check out the talk I gave at KU. It was my first time. I may have gotten some facts wrong. Hopefully I got some of them right. High energy as usual. And I hope to see you KU students drop by the daily, say hi, and we will get you adjusted to the routines and the culture of the sub, and hopefully get you information that you need to make your life in blockchain a reality, because you guys are definitely at the tip of the spear, just like all these other newcomers going back to the beginning. This technology is here to stay. I'm convinced of that, and I think that we need to work more efficiently at getting good information to the young people so they can carry the torch even faster than we could. All right, cheers and big hugs from Kansas City. Check out the KU video. All right, I'll get going here. Stop. Man, so I had to connect to my phone's hotspot to get this fancy contraption to work, right? A hardware wallet. And so we've been kind of troubleshooting up and down for the last hour or whatever, and I think we'll get there. By the way, I had to set up all these cameras or my mom wouldn't believe me that I was presenting at KU. So I got three cameras set up, and for what it's worth. My name is Jeremiah Nickel. I work for GridPlus, gridplus.io. We are the nation, as far as I know, the nation's leading hardware wallet in terms of the Ethereum ecosystem. We also support Bitcoin as well. Any EVM chain, it's all EVM compatible. So I started working for this company in January while I was still teaching elementary music. So I am formerly an 18-year veteran of elementary music land. Recorders, remember those? Right? Did your mom and dad throw it out the car window on the last day before summer? I don't blame them. So I'm going to see if this, because the laptop is connected as well, I'm going to see if this stuff will load a little bit. So my beginnings in crypto was 2014 in Bitcoin land. I, like so many people at the, kind of after the post-2008 crash, financial markets, everything that went crazy there, it was like I kind of got into crypto out of a bit of angst, right? Like this whole idea that, there's so much power over us, and it was kind of this, almost like this anarcho way of thinking, like, what could I park some money in? Because I was just upset at the time. I've always worked like 2 or 3 jobs. I'm no stranger to work. I just wanted my hard-earned dollar to start being invested in something. The only investment that I'd ever made, so this is going to be also partially like very macro level stuff. By the way, this man is a great teacher. I could sit here and learn from him. Don't assume anything about me as a person in the blockchain world that somehow I could have given a better description of how SHA-256 works, right? So first of all, this is cool what you guys are doing here, like super cool. Anyway, so 2014, we got a letter from our home insurance, and they said they were no longer going to cover our house because of a roof that needed replaced. There was no fire, there was no flood, there was no damage. And my wife had bought it on first-time home buyers. But because whoever signed the inspection at that time, it wasn't provable on a blockchain, we had to replace the roof. I was just so upset. So we took out a second mortgage. You should never invest second mortgages or student loan money at all into crypto, unless you're this guy.
Oh no.
Because there was $3,000 that I said they're not going to get it from me. But the trade-off was I did the work myself, right? So we took out a second mortgage. But the other thing you shouldn't do is not tell your wife about it. And so that was the last time I ever lied to her. Fast forward, to 2015. I learned about Vitalik Buterin by watching a movie called The Rise and Rise of Bitcoin. Has anybody seen that in here? I want you to go get on whatever you can go watch that. The Rise and Rise of Bitcoin gives you a great picture of the world of Bitcoin under $2,000, right? So it had hit and then crashed. Rise and Rise of Bitcoin came out, and you'll see this kid. How many of you have heard of Vitalik Buterin? Beautiful. They showed this kid, and he was literally a kid at the age of 17 working for Bitcoin Magazine, and he talked for all of 12 seconds. And the elementary teacher in me was looking at him, the way he was speaking, I'm like, I knew he could be brilliant. And sure enough, he came out with the white paper of Ethereum. Fast forward from there, I got in 2015 and found my way onto this site here. How many of you have a Reddit account? Okay, so on Reddit, there's a community called ETH Trader. And ETH Trader was like my home for learning about all things Ethereum. And in fact, there's a guy sitting in here today that I have now met for the first time in my life. He came to this because we had to get a big hug, right? So my tagline on Reddit is, cheers and big hugs from kids, say we gave a big hug right in front here. I didn't know that he was a professor here, and he knows me from being in the Kansas City area. And it just works out. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to reverse dox him and tell you what his Reddit name is. Because many of you, or you will know eventually at some point, his full name too, right? So, Director of Small Business
Development Center.
Development
Professor would be
Center.
overstating it dramatically. I don't have a PhD.
Hey, welcome to the club, man. We're in good company. He's been a friend of mine for a long time.
Oh,
ETH decided to use the Ethereum blockchain to produce something called an ERC20 token, which you'll get into eventually. How many of you know what that is? Okay, ERC20 token. So you think of Bitcoin. When I think of Bitcoin, Bitcoin is a fax machine where Bob sends Alice a message and it travels through and it works. Ethereum is more like the way we use the internet now, where there's like websites that are, the tokens are actual companies. The people that own the token can direct the flow of which way code gets implemented. There's literally thousands and thousands of projects, mostly scams, that are being built underneath the Ethereum umbrella. It's a mind blow. Like Ethereum is just like a rainbow of absurdity. It's incredible. And so I found myself in ETH Trader when it had less than 500 members. Then I became a lead moderator there. Now it has like over 1 million. But about 2 years ago, we branched off and made ETH Finance because I did not want to tokenize Reddit Karma. Blockchain is not going to solve everything, okay? It can solve some amazing things, but we're trying to, in some ways I feel like we're trying to, create a problem for a solution, right? Or whatever that phrase is. I didn't like that. I didn't like the idea of tokenizing Reddit Karma. And so 6 moderators and myself walked out, and we started ETH Finance, and we migrated 10,000 people in about 48 hours over to our subreddit in the middle of a bear market, a terrible bear market. I mean, it was nasty, you remember. And it's been a really cool ride with that. I've made a lot of friendships over this time, including Paul Brody from EY has become a really good friend of mine. Ernst & Young, one of the big 4 accounting firms on the planet. Have you heard of that? 300,000 employees. So my friend Paul runs the entire blockchain division for the company. And invited me to go to New York, and it's just wild. I went from 18 years of elementary music to getting a job after being a community lead type person, social capital, never a paycheck. I don't accept any money for volunteer work. Then I get the job with Grid Plus, and it's just been incredible. And now I'm standing in KU, hi Mom, giving my first presentation with my first PowerPoint I've ever made. So yeah, we like to play around on ETH Finance. jtnickel.eth. My Twitter is @ProDJKC. This is me burning a brush pile. Anyway, that's kind of funny. And that's an NFT. How many of you guys have NFTs? You own them? Nobody? I know you. Good? Couple of them? Very good. So NFTs, you're going to cover that eventually. You're not a big fan.
I'm not a big fan, but we'll talk about it anyway.
And that goes back to a blockchain maybe doesn't have to, it's in hype mode right now, super hype mode. But it's a great use case. Non-fungible tokens, NFTs. This piece of art is the only one of its kind. You might think, well, I could just take a copy of that. Yes, you could. Yes, you could. But this is provable in origin because it exists. The hash for it exists on the blockchain. The art necessarily does not. This is probably where you're kind of like, it's all kind of sketch, right? Because if like the centralized server that holds this art that's tied to that hash goes down, then well, you don't really own anything but an overpriced hash. By the way, that one was given to me. I didn't pay whatever millions of dollars some of these are going for. So a true story about 1994. All right? You got the University of Kansas, and you got MTV. This was my graduating year. And then my wife was at spring break with MTV down at that Florida or wherever, or down in the Gulf. And I was at band camp right here at Murphy Hall. I met my wife years later. I just want to clarify, this wouldn't have been a thing in '94. That dude right there, this one time at band camp, I went 4 years to the University of Kansas Midwestern Music Camp. Great experience. All right, so let's move on. So how many of you you've heard of Bitcoin, you're here, and how many of you have heard of Ethereum? It's wild how, yeah, some people have, some people haven't, okay? Number 2 market cap, the sleeping giant, right? But never bet against Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin, I get it, but I don't like it either. At the same time, I got rid of all mine in 2015. No regrets. No regrets. Okay, because it was kind of like, oh, cool, here I am with my Trezor, which is a hardware wallet. And then eventually got a Ledger, that's another hardware wallet. Wow, I got Bitcoin now. Cool. How much Bitcoin do you have? Yeah, how much do you have? What kind of conversation? What can you build on that? You can't write a code with the hash to like make a smart contract, which is something I'm sure you'll learn about. How many of you have heard of a smart contract where you can actually use the code that goes into the Ethereum blockchain can also be its own way of being a computer. Albeit right now it's slow, you know, it's kind of like an LED calculator from 1971 that my grandpa had in his top drawer out in western Kansas. Yeah. It's slow. It's not. You can't do a ton with it. But what allows it to be great is that other side projects can plug in and speed up their processes and just settle it on Ethereum anyway. The code communicates. What's that word? Turing complete, and then EVM. Those are the 2 words that I can't explain to you, but I'm sure that they will in a much better detail in the future. Okay, it's kind of like a computer that people can snap Legos into and keep making new things happen. Bitcoin rocks. Like the hash power of that network, it ain't going anywhere. You know, and you were kind of alluding a little bit, what if the government takes it away? It's like other governments will embrace it. It's here. Like, it ain't going anywhere. Anything else that you hold that you know about or have been interested in besides Bitcoin and Ethereum? Yeah.
Just like Solana,
Solana.
Cardano, like EOS.
Okay, so Solana, they're one of our lead engineers, for what it's worth, is looking at maybe incorporating Solana. You like that idea?
I want you to, yes.
In his words, he's like, okay. That was what he said in the Slack. He's like, Solana's got something going on with it. You know?
Also like the decentralized exchanges.
Yeah.
It's like Sushi Swap or Uniswap or Pancake Swap.
Yep. Yep. So you're already you're like, that's what you're doing. You're kind of self-teaching. You're looking at other options that are out there. Like there's no Bitcoin killer. It doesn't mean it's always going to be the lead in market cap, but Bitcoin's Bitcoin. And never bet against it.
It's just as like a solid store of value.
Mm-hmm. That's
There's
it.
definitely a lot more opportunities out there.
Yep. And so, you know, Solana and Ethereum, they can coexist as a multi-chain type of deal, right? Polkadot, that's another one. Cosmos, there's another. I mean, there are projects out there. I mean, there's a lot of incredible talent out there. Nobody holds Doge in here? Okay, all right. So I was actually curious about that because I know you'll agree with me that Doge was this phenomenon over the last year. Like, those of you who own it, I'm just curious. Like, do you know like why that even became a thing in the first place? Do what? It's a meme. It was originally created to make fun of. If people were copying the Bitcoin code, right? And then they're like, well, instead of 21 million over, 100 years, let's just print 1 trillion of it or whatever. And it's like, there you go. So it was like fun for people because now they were sending like 1 million Dogecoin back and forth for laughs. And before it became what it is today, getting memed to death by that guy, they put it on a NASCAR. Did you know that? They put that on a NASCAR. The world was like blown away, like this can't be real. What is Dogecoin? Who? That's not a thing. That's not a company. Yes.
Well, I kind of like Doge just because of the kind of, like, unifies like the financial system.
Who likes the memes? It's the community, right? That is a community narrative.
So the currency, all it is, like, that, well, currency just provides value if we all, like, think it holds value.
That's right. It's whoever has it is the perception. But the thing that makes Doge great, I mean, you can't refuse the community. The community is there. It's so marketing. Like the marketing of it is all done like grassroots. Always has been. I mean, if Dogecoin, I mean, you got Elon Musk, right? One of the most brilliant technological innovators trolling the world, pumping this. And we're like, man, Ethereum should be launching SpaceX, blockchain satellites or something useful. He's like, man, you know what that guy did? He put a car into space on a rocket. Did you see that? One of the first Teslas? He sent it out in space with like the MTV astronaut in the front seat. He can because he can. The dude loves to just manipulate. But you know what? If he wants to use Doge as a payment system on Mars, then, we're along for the ride. So when you think about it, who in here, let's just say, raise your hands, you heard about Bitcoin, let's say 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3, 2. Okay, so how many of you guys, I'm wondering how many of you kind of got memed into Dogecoin first and then started getting interested in like Bitcoin, Ethereum, or anything else? Yeah, it started with the community, didn't it? The narrative, the meme world, right? We live in that. This is all just kind of for me. I just love talking to you about it because, yeah, what clicked with you? Was it just because of the meme factor, at least with Doge? What about crypto in general? Are you here for the money? Are you here for the tech? Are you here for both? I've always been here for both. It started out kind of angsty. The reason why I got into it in the first place was like traditional stuff confused me. I never owned a stock trading desk account or Robinhood or any of these apps that you guys can plug in so quick to traditional stock markets. You can plug in the fake crypto on PayPal. I mean, it's incredible what you have these days, right? But when I started digging into ETH Trader and ETH Finance on Reddit, and I like Reddit. I like Twitter too, but for different reasons. Reddit is if you really take the time to get into Reddit on desktop, which I don't know how many of you guys would be interested in this, you can find me anytime. I'm user JT Nickel. I'm the lead mod on ETH Finance. Just find me. And if you want, I can help you learn how to use Reddit, because what Reddit offers you is a way to tag people and use a system called the Reddit Enhancement Suite, which you can highlight and save people, so to speak. So when they show up, like our daily gets 1,000 comments a day, but when you look at our daily, you don't see what I see. What I see is like color-coded. I can take a note on this person works for that company, this person's working on that software. And after I did that, after a while, I realized just how many people sit in our subreddit that are software engineers. They're doctors, they're lawyers, they're business owners, they're students, they're teenagers. It's like such a cool place to like kind of, once you get in there and lurk for a while, and then you start contributing, and you start getting some back and forth. And believe me, the meme is strong on Reddit too. If you enjoy a laugh, there's some brilliantly funny people in there. So I guess my roundabout way was, at first it was kind of like, well, I just want to hold this because eventually it'll be worth something. And what I didn't anticipate was actually getting a job in the industry. What you're doing right here, probably did not exist on this campus 3 years ago. Am I right?
Well, I wasn't here 3 years ago, so you'd have to ask Art.
4?
Correct, not 3, not 2.
Not even 2. And that is the story across the world. This is a Division I school with a meetup. That's where you're at right now. You're early, man. I'm not early. We're early. This isn't going anywhere. You can read some tweet about the feds doing whatever to regulate and all that. That's all good and fine. We need a bit of regulation. But this is just like the internet combined with capital. That's where we're at. If you don't think you have a job waiting for you, start learning how to code Solidity if you're a computer science guy or lady. All right? We're looking for engineers now. We can't find them. There's so much money to be made. I'm a talking head community member off Reddit with 18 years of elementary school teaching experience, talking to a blockchain meetup at KU for coursework that's not like in the catalog. It's going to be there. You guys are going to get there. But you got to, I don't know. I'm a cheerleader for you because your future is going to be just incredible. What's that old phrase like the jobs that you're going to be working haven't been invented yet? You've heard that before, right? It's more true than ever. It was true for me, and that was a true thing 15 years after I heard that phrase in junior high in the late 80s. It took 15 years. You know, the jobs you're going to be doing that haven't been created yet are about 3 years from now, 5 years from now. The campuses can't even, they just qualified people to like present it. This guy right here, amazing. Broke it down. He could teach that. He could teach that as a workshop in a high school.
As a short recap, 2 things make cryptocurrencies valuable.
I don't even want to read. There's something wrong with that about the gold. What's the fallacy of comparing it to gold?
The limit.
The limit. Who said that? That's right. Do we know the limit of Bitcoin? Yes, it's in the code. We don't know the limit of gold. We haven't dug it all up yet. Right? I mean, I think that's kind of funny that it gets compared to gold, but it's actually like ultra hard gold, right? I think that's a pretty good explainer. And the idea of it getting harder over time, I don't know if you're even going to go into all that. This guy broke down Bitcoin in a TED Talk years ago. Gosh, I can't remember his name. But the way he explains smart contracts is really useful.
Blockchain also drops the cost of collaboration and contracting in an open market because of something called smart contracts. Just like what they sound like, contracts that self-execute, they police themselves. It's sort of like a contract with a lawyer and a bank and a government in software inside the contract. So this is a halcyon age for entrepreneurship, and companies overall are going to become more decentralized, and they're going to start to look like networks. And business leaders that can figure that out now and take steps now can get the jump. I said this is 1995, and back then, there was this view that we underestimate the impact of technology in the long term, but we overestimate it in the short term. I don't think that's true anymore. Back then, we didn't have broadband. Telephones were connected to the wall with a wire. Today, all of that exists, and we have 6 billion people with a supercomputer in their pocket. They're blockchain ready right now. A lot of them in the developing world don't have a bank account or an identity, but they have a mobile and they can instantly be brought into the financial system. So expect the rate of change.
Yeah, expect the rate of change to go faster now, right? That curve. I love that. I just love the way he explains stuff. That's killed me. I forgot his stinking name. So the lattice one. Okay, so I guess what I'm getting at also is, when you talk about the platitudes of money and the technology and everything like that, and we were touching on passwords and security, and the phrase is not your keys, not your coins. We were talking about crypto being sold. Is it on Robinhood, Venmo, PayPal, all these ACH payment infrastructure companies are offering basically it's like a check, a piece of paper that says, yeah, this stock here is good for 1 Dogecoin, okay? And just like he said, it can all go poof. So the idea is the custody of your funds. You kind of become the agent for your own money. It carries an immense amount of burden, okay? Because if you're not careful with your 24-word seed phrase that you use to set up your wallet, okay, there's that. If you decide to encrypt it with a password, there's that. I mean, so you gotta really think about what you're doing. But once you get started using a wallet like the Lattice One, it makes it a little bit easier to maneuver through the ecosystem. So anybody in here own any type of hardware wallet, like a Ledger Nano S, a Tracer, anything like that? Very good. So they're great devices. There's merit. All of them have their own merits. They have their own flaws as well. And this is not a sales pitch for Grid Plus first and foremost, okay? The reason why I'm here is because I was excited to get the invite to talk to you about it. So that's why I wanted to cover some of that other stuff. But this thing is pretty rad. I'm gonna use that word, because I like that word. This thing's rad.